This is show number 2 on day number 3. Actually, this is the second show we're doing on Friday, April 15th. Because it's tax day, the tax collector in the U.S. made us do 2 shows to pay back for our YouTube experience. So Jeff is in Australia, so he left for half the show so he wouldn't have to pay too much taxes. They already pay enough where they are. Hey, Jeff.
Hi. I think it really had something to do with the remarks we was making about Canon. I think they just shut us down.
Yeah, you have to watch show number 65. Tech Down Over 65. We chastise Canon and Nikon, only because Nikon was hiding behind the bushes. They thought they could get away with it, but no. We're a very fair show. We're fair and somewhat unbalanced, but that's okay. All right, so let's start our show. We may have Corey Benoit on this show. He may call in a couple minutes, or he may not, because he's technically right now 50 minutes late. He had an event. We don't know if he was in New York or in Florida, but if he's not on today, he will be on next time, I'm sure. Corey's a great guy. He's a good friend of ours, and he will be on again. So we're going to start the show recording in 3, 2, and 1. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Down Over, episode number 66. The Big 66. Route 66. This is our beach show, heading cross-country from coast to coast. Route 66. Most of you are probably too young to remember that, but that was a TV show back in the 1960s and I think 60s, not even the 70s. That's an old show. With George Maharis and, what was the other guy's name? Martin Milner. It's amazing what I remember now. But it was a fun show. They drove cross-country in a Corvette. That's cool back then. A fiberglass body. A lot of people died in those things, but they were cool.
Now people would say, what would you just want to drive down the coast in a convertible for?
Yeah, until you've done it, you won't know. It's fun. I had a convertible. I had a Nissan 300ZX one time. It had a T-top, so it wasn't quite convertible, but you could take the top off. Pain, never get a T-top. They're too much of a pain. Get a real convertible. But when you took them off, it was fun. You had more noise than you can imagine. The conversation went something like this.
That's the thing. Why I would never.
It was romantic. That's all I could say.
That's why I would never get a convertible, because I could never. It would either be too hot or too cold to use it.
So we have a sunroof right now, and the sunroof is good because you open it up and part of your body burns. The rest,
that's right.
Nothing,
your head
but
burns.
It's kind of fun. It is fun. So on the previous show, episode number 65, a whole 20 minutes ago, we talked about the Canon 80D. That is this little puppy right here. Here we go, puppy. Canon 80D. I have on it not the new, but the old 18 to 135 STM, which is, by the way, a pretty good and pretty fast lens. It focuses quickly. And let me turn this on real quick. And let me see if you can hear. I don't have my beep turned on focus because I just got it literally 3 hours ago, and I haven't played that much with it. Haven't even gone into the menus much. But if you want to hear how fast it takes shots. Oh.
It's quiet. Is it taking shots?
Can you hear the beeps?
I can hardly hear the beeps, so I can hear the clicks.
Probably, I'm on the mic, but it's... Here, let me try this.
Yeah, you can hear that slightly.
So it's beeping like crazy and pretty fast. It's actually beeping almost as quickly as my GH4, which is pretty amazing.
Because the GH4 is a pretty good focusing, doesn't it?
A little slow. It's not taking the picture, though. Maybe because I'm not in picture mode. Smart me.
Oh, so you was taking a video of this?
I was taking something. helps if I do that. So let's get this a little darker. There we go. So this, it's pretty quick.
Oh, that took a picture. That took a picture.
Yeah, it's been taking pictures every time I hit it. It's faster than my Nikons, the full frames. And then you can go into fast mode. So that would be here.
But the great thing I like with the 80D is you know all the functions because you've had from the 60, 70, and the 80. It's pretty much the menus are the same. The buttons are pretty much the same. Yep, we can hear that. Yeah.
Wrong mode. Hold on. Gotta get into the right mode. I think it's this one. That's my ISO. There we go.
So you've got the battery grip as well on. I see on that one as well, Rick. Is that the
and
new one for that, or is it the 70?
Same exact one as the 70.
It's the same one. So
same one. So
did you buy another one, or did you just
I bought another one because
70?
I still can use the 70. If I'm doing a video shoot for interviews, I could bring in the 70 Mark II, the 70D, and the 80D, and we've got a pretty good layout. I mean, this will do very good videos for interview style stuff, even movement. We were doing some testing earlier and it ran really well.
And the great thing with both of them, you can put them on Wi-Fi, so you could control them. If you were the interview, you could switch, do a bit of zooming or different things on the camera. Well, not zooming, but
you can
focusing.
Yeah, you can. It's pretty good.
Because you can't zoom remotely, can you?
Don't know.
No.
I think I think in the app you might. Oh no, not zoom. Unless you buy that.
There's a kit.
There's a zoom engine that goes underneath it. The P something or other.
But usually on an interview thing, you would have the shots set anyway. It's just whether the focus you might need to change or start and stop the recording and that.
Yep. So anyway, it's a nice camera. It's as nice as the 70D Plus. Deeper grip. I love the grip. It's just like the D750 now. So that was clever. It's a much deeper grip. My hand fits perfectly in it. Not that heavy. Pretty well balanced. I mean, it's pretty balanced. So I'd say all in all, it's a pretty good camera.
Yes, because at first when they did announce that, I was a bit underimpressed with that.
Same
because
here.
I thought it was quite similar to the 70D. But when I saw the camera store's review of it and it actually in action and the quality of the pictures,
It looked good.
and the focus pulling by the touchscreen, it seemed to be a viable one to look at.
Yeah, it looked actually pretty good. And you have 45 cross-stitch autofocus points, which is, if not the same, almost the same as the 70 Mark II. That's quite a bit. I mean, it went from 19 to 45. That's a pretty big difference. It's faster. It's got more autofocus capabilities and slightly different stuff. It's got more dynamic range, maybe up to 3 stops of dynamic range better. So they sound small, but in the final quality, that's pretty good.
Did you see the camera store's review on it?
Yes. I didn't see all of them. They did, I think, 3. I saw the last one.
Well, the last one was quite good because they recorded the whole review on the 80D.
That's right. And it looked good.
So it was all the focus pulling and everything Jordan was doing. It's all on the 80D. So it was quite impressive. I really like that, how just the touch screen and how accurate it does work on there. Because I'm still working on the Canon 60D, which the 60D, when you start recording, it doesn't do autofocus anymore. It just stops.
Right.
And so it's a great studio camera, but not very good for shoot and gun.
It's a very good
run and shoot. I don't know.
It's a very good photo camera. It's really quite nice. It takes very pretty pictures, but not for video. It sucked for video, really did.
Well, that's right. And as I said, I set up a video shoot to do that for myself, and I had to put something in the chair to try and focus on, so I could set the white balance. because I couldn't do it myself, and then I did it, and I still looked washed out because I didn't have the exposure set correctly, because I just couldn't focus on there without somebody sitting there to do that. So
you didn't have your Jeff Blanchard clone, the little clone doll?
No,
you put
that's right. I tried to do like the Flash and move that quickly that my image would still be in the seat.
And the nice thing with the 70 and the 80D,
and I was looking around for a big teddy bear to put in the seat, but that didn't.
Yeah, you could. But with the 70 and 80D, you can just get into view and it'll go, hi.
Yes.
And you're viewed. It looks good. You're focused.
That's one of the big things. Who was doing that? Somebody was saying, oh, yeah, they said one of their big things when they do videos is to focus in on somebody in the distance and jump in front of the camera. And it just pulls the focus out from them into them on the autofocus. And they keep doing it. It's quite impressive. So,
yeah.
But even like these Canons that we all working on, the like the Canon XA10 that I've got here, and the XA25s, they've got that follow focus on them as well, don't they? They're very good for that.
Yeah, well, camcorders have always been good at that. For some odd reason, camcorders always focused a lot better and did a good job. You know, they're out of favor right now, but they're still very, very good. And I know a lot of professionals who love shooting video on DSLRs, but a lot of times professionally they shoot camcorders.
And the camcorders, the thing is with that, you're not limited to your 29 minutes. And I know in most cases when you're running around filming, 29 minutes is more than enough. But when you're filming an event, you might want to put a camera there and just film for 3 hours or something like that, and just take the 5 minutes you need out of it and have 3 or 4 cameras.
Oh, I have news for you. We have coming up soon Ken Wheeler. Do you know who Ken Wheeler
what was
is?
that?
Coming up soon on a show, I think in a couple of weeks, is Ken Wheeler.
Oh, the angry photographer.
The angry photographer. He agreed to come on. I love the guy. He's different, but you know what? He's really knowledgeable. When he talks, he knows what he's talking about. So,
have you seen him do the Nikon 750 low light experiment with filming things in his cellar?
Oh, really? No, I haven't seen that one. I have to go back and look for it.
Because he's got a dark cellar stairs going down into the cellar, and you can hardly see anything. And then he just kicks it up with the 70. I think it was the D750, but it was just quite impressive. All the different things on things that you'd want to do yourself, like filming in a dark cellar. But he did quite a good job. So that's really exciting to have him on in a couple of weeks' time. Well, it's in May, I think it is, isn't it? So
I don't remember if he's. I thought he's in April, but it may be May.
May, I think it was May. So
it was May. Yeah. Okay. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. Oh, you know, you're right. I think it was like May 13th, wasn't it?
Now, Rick, did you hear? Now you say you've got the Canon 80D. Did you hear the rumors about a new Canon full frame mirrorless?
That's the one I think that just came out, but I'm not sure.
There's one that's talking about hasn't been released yet.
It hasn't.
But they're talking about at Photo Kino in Germany. They reckon that will be released.
Okay.
But that would be interesting. And, of course, it says it will fit the Canon E-mount lenses. But, of course, if you'd be that's Canon. You'd be crazy to bring out a full-frame camera that didn't use your lenses, wouldn't you?
Yeah, that would be interesting. I mean, there's still a lot of rumors about a Canon 5D Mark IV. Now, I don't know. It's been so long. What's it been, 5-6 years since the Mark III? People don't remember what it is anymore. I don't know.
But the thing is with that, I suppose, they've got the 5 DSR, which is the 50 megapixel camera.
Right.
So if they did a 5D Mark IV, that would have to be a lower spec, higher than the Mark III, but lower than the 5 DSR.
Well, remember the Mark III, or what is that one? The S, what's it called? RS?
DSR, I think the new one, the
DSR,
50 megapixel.
The 5 DSR.
Yeah, I think that's
and that one's really more for landscape and where you want a ton of pixels for pictures. That's not really going to be for your average 5D user who's a videographer, a general photographer of portraits. You don't need 50 megapixel for portraits. It's overkill unless you're going to make murals out of it. So, I don't know. That's a lot of megapixels, and no matter how fast they are, they're not that fast.
And like they say, it depends on what you're doing with the shots. If you're a professional shooting billboards and you're going to print it,
sure,
that's better. If you're going to do huge prints or whatever you're going to do, the more the better. But for the standard person, you don't need that. And also, I've been hearing with that when you get up to the 50 megapixels, things like Lightroom work extremely slow.
Right.
Like where on the 20 and 30 megapixels doesn't seem to be a problem, but when you get up to 50,
that's a lot.
It becomes a bit of a problem for it to just flick through your 5,000 shots at 50 megapixels apiece.
Well, have you ever heard the Canon 5 DSR or whatever it's called? The buffer, how fast it fills? This is 50 megapixels. Yeah, I heard it the other day. Here we go.
Click.
We're done.
Yeah, that's it. But it's quite impressive when you see things like the Sony A7R Mark II. That one's got it's 46 megapixels, quite a high one, but the buffer on that, you see that when they just hold the finger down, it gets up to, I think it was 36 shots or something.
Yeah, which is quite a bit.
Stats, which is quite a lot before it fills up the buffer for.
Yeah,
it's only the.
And that's not a speed machine. I don't think it goes more than, about 7 frames a second or something?
I think that's what it's made for, about 7 frames a second.
Yeah, so 50. So you get you said about 50 shots? Or 36 shots, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So you're getting about a 5-second burst. If you're doing sports photography, that might be enough. But that's a lot of megapixels too.
And that was shooting in RAW, but when they shot in JPEG, it didn't stop.
It just goes
when you were shooting RAW, that was it buffered up, but when they were shooting JPEG, it sort of kept going and kept going.
A 50 megapixel RAW file is probably how many megabytes? So 50, probably over 60 megabytes for a file size. That's big. That's really big.
It just takes me back thinking about like the old Sony Mavic camera, which you had a 1.44 floppy to take about 20 shots on, and you thought that would. But how many? Just imagine how many floppy disks for one of those Canon 5 DSLR would take.
I know, a lot. I remember we used to do photo shoots in our e-learning work with the Mavic. That was our first expensive camera. It was over $1,000 back then, and we had boxes and boxes and boxes of floppies, and we did, and our photo shoots at high quality were about 30 to 50 floppies per shoot, and we're talking 300 to 400 pictures. There's a lot of floppies. And then it was bad. We had 2 of those, and we were considered, wow, these guys are hot. They got 2 floppy cameras, and of course, once something else came out, they were gone.
I've still got in the drawer upstairs my old Jazz drive, which was like a floppy disk that took 100 megabytes, and that was sort of unheard of.
Those iOmega flash drives were absolutely awesome.
Yeah. But the things changed so quickly, I don't think I even filled up my 100 megabyte Jazz drive things, because things moved so quickly. It would just surpass that. It became obsolete before I could actually use it.
Well, also what happens is, if you really look at the industry, everything's in gigabytes and terabytes now, but the software isn't well written. We're not talking efficient software. We're talking bloated. It's not that fast. What's gotten faster are the peripherals, the hard drives, the memory. That's fast, the boards. But software, I think the programming is so sloppy on most of them. There are some good programs, but a lot of them are just badly written. And they look fast because the hardware is really, really fast.
But it's amazing to me to think how technology would be a little bit if they could make some things for people that just worked, not that were flashy, because a lot of the programming and a lot of the memory takes up things to make it nice and easy. Like when you're using Windows or Macs or anything, really a lot of the things we do, the old 286s would still do the same thing, but it just can't support the interface to make it look easy to do.
Yeah, that's true.
And I was listening to another one before when they were saying the early days of the PC, and they paid extra on their PC so they could do upper and lower case, because all that came in was caps.
I remember that.
So I thought, you just can't remember. And that's sort of not like 200 years ago, it sounds like, but it was probably 25 years ago.
Well, I was telling Jacqueline, who works with us, that 1 terabyte now can fit on your thumb. You can have a 1 terabyte SD card. They're starting to come out on your thumb. It's amazing. Leslie, my wife, used to work at Teradata. They were the very first company in the world who came out with a terabyte machine, and it was probably about a 5,000 square foot room full of drives. That was a 1 terabyte machine back then. It was enormous. And now, your thumb, 32 years later. Can you believe that?
Well, I remember this would be about 15, 16 years ago with the memory stick when they came out, and I think they were about 256 megabytes, the average one. Yeah. And they had a gigabyte one, which was, when it started off, was something like $80,000. And now you can't give away a gigabyte drive, a thumb drive now.
Well, I remember when
just can't give them away.
We've been building machines for a long time, and I remember building an AST. This is when the AST cards were popular, and it had a motherboard, and the memory for 1 gigabyte. 1 gigabyte of memory was $1,500. My first PC in 1982, maybe 81. I think it was 82. $3,500. 2 floppies. There were no hard drives. But then about a year later, I sold it and bought one with a 10 megabyte hard drive.
You must have been.
I was a fat cat. It was good. and then after that, we got 20 megabyte hard drives. Eventually, it jumped to 100. And then one day, it became gigs. And now you can buy 6 terabyte, 10 terabyte hard drives. Wow.
And that's still not enough, is it?
It isn't. That's because of all the bloat out there.
But do you remember when they had, like every PC was called like an IBM compatible? Mm-hmm. And the only items that wouldn't, all the IBM compatible peripherals, the only machines they wouldn't work in would be an IBM.
That's right.
Said, that's how does this work? They said it's an IBM compatible printer, or a card, but the only thing it wouldn't fit into would be an IBM computer.
IBM, yeah, it was funny. Well, you know what IBM stood for, right?
What's that?
I've been misled.
I've been misled.
Yeah, and then when they sold their division off to Lenovo, I've been mandarined.
Mandarin. Well.
Don't send notes. We don't want to hear it.
So, like today, what we've had here is we had our big crash today. So that's why I'm on my laptop. I hate being on the laptop because I always feel like I'm laying down when I'm sat on it. It looks like I'm on an angle. I just hate using the laptop. But that's why I was talking with Rick last week about building up a good broadcasting machine with Windows and plenty of memory, because I'm just sick to death of this.
I have an idea
Skype
for you.
Crashing.
I have an idea.
Yes.
And if you're watching this show from Australian Customs and Immigration, please turn off the show now. You have 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right. No customs people. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, Jeff, here's the deal. We can build you an ITX machine. They're the mini boards, but they're really good boards. Put an i7 on it. It's got a small case that's like, really, they're pretty small. And you could put that in your suitcase. Nobody would even notice it. Just tell them, this is my laptop. They wouldn't notice, I tell you. You could get right back in, no problem. You're done.
I think they might sort of say, well, that would be interesting to see what that would be, but I can't now. They're watching me. I'm on their watch list now.
You probably are. Okay, customs people from Australia, you can get back on. You heard nothing. Okay, now, look into my fingers. Look into my fingers. Okay, keep looking. In 3 seconds, you will forget the show existed. 1, 2, 3.
You don't have to do that. Most people have forgotten about us already, so.
That's right.
No, but it was interesting. I was hoping to have Corey on to have a chat to see what he thought about.
Yeah, he must have gotten stuck in that event. It was probably a long one. So tell me, Jeff, what is your next purchase? It's been a long time since you bought stuff.
Well, I've been hanging off. I said they'll probably my last camera. What was that? Would probably be the HCX 1000. I think. Well, no, it was the Osmo.
Oh, the Osmo.
DJI
right.
Osmo. That was my last camera, but I'm still tossing up whether to get a Nikon D750.
It's nice.
Or a new Canon 80D.
Yeah, it's a tough one. If you look at the picture quality of both, they're pretty close. The D750 may be a bit better. It is a full-frame camera, but they both look really good. If you have good glass on any of them, I think the end result is going to be similar. So I've come to the conclusion it doesn't matter how big your camera is, how fast. It's how good your glass is and what you do with it. So the 750 is a beautiful camera. It is different from the Canons. I like the 750 a lot. If I had to choose one or the other, what would I choose? Maybe the 750.
And with the lenses, what is your feelings on the Sigma lenses?
They're good, but what I'm noticing is you have to make sure it works on the particular machine you want to get, the camera you want to get. I have not yet tried the Sigma on this one, so I will try it tonight to see how fast or not it is, because on the 70D, the Sigma is slow as molasses. On the 7D Mark II, the Sigma's fast. So it does depend a lot on the actual firmware of the camera, the speed of the camera, the sensor. But I tell you, on the 770D, it is not fast. On everything else, it's beautiful.
Reason why I ask that question is because I believe that Sigma now, they will refit your lenses if you change to Nikon. You can change them, and then you can change them back again.
Yep, they do. Now, Tamron is also a very good manufacturer. They make very good, and so does Rokinon. All of those are very good third-party lenses that equal or are better in some cases than the Canons or Nikons.
Yeah, I've heard the Tamron's very good here with
They're good. I have now on my 750. I have 3 lenses. One is the Nikon kit lens. Excuse me, I got something in my eye. The Nikon kit lens, which is very good, a little slower. And then I've got the Tamron 35mm, which is beautiful. And the Tamron, I believe it's 24 to 70mm, beautiful. So the only thing I don't have is maybe a Tamron, I think it's 18 to 200 or 70 to 200. That would be a nice lens to get. So I think it really depends on lenses. On the 750, the D750 Nikon, the Tamrons run fast. They're beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I'm just looking for. Something that's will give me something different to what I've got, because with the Panasonic FZ1000, it is a fixed lens, but that's what I'm looking for. Something that's not a fixed lens, but preferably probably a full frame, but I don't know. Quality that's coming out that 80D is more than adequate for what I want. I'm not a professional photographer. And maybe I need to invest in a couple of extra lenses instead for the difference in price.
I need to invite you into my smug mug, because I think I only invited you into some. I found out I can give you the whole thing, so I got to send that to you. Because then I have now everything categorized by camera, manufacturer, and then camera lens combo. And you could see 5 or 6 different cameras easily and compare the differences. Most of the shots are very similar. And I tell you, the Canons are good, the Nikons are very good, and frankly, the Panasonics are good. So, it's all a question of what kind of lens and what you do with it.
Yeah, like I've always been tempted to go for the Sony, but like you said, it's just not quite the right form factor for me. I like to have that bigger one, like the Canons or the Nikons, whether it's mirrorless or whatever. But they keep saying with the mirrorless as well, they started off smaller, but now they're
getting
starting
bigger
to be bigger bodies.
Yeah. Now this feels pretty much like a 750.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say weight-wise, with the battery grip, not much different. About the same. The 810 is heavier.
And how much is that in what dollars just for the body?
Body only was $11.95.
Oh, that's not
and
too bad.
And $135, I think, for the grip.
Mm-hmm.
I got these at B&H.
Oh, that'd be good, sir. So now I'll
tell you one advantage
to the US. So I'm coming over into the US this year.
Yeah.
So I don't know what camera do I bring with me. I'm going to travel light. I'm not bringing every camera. I'm just going to bring one camera.
Well, you could buy one here.
Which one do I bring?
You could buy one here.
Yeah.
Go from the airport right to Sammy's.
Yeah, well, that's right. If they've got some good price, the dollar's going up again. It's up to 77 cents.
Oh, okay.
Instead of 69.
That's
so
good.
if it's equal, that doesn't matter.
Now, the 750, the D750 has one advantage over every one of these.
Mm-hmm.
Two
dual slots.
SD cards. That makes a huge difference. The D810 has a compact flash and an SD card. Now, the Canon 7D Mark II has compact flash and SD card. I like that a lot. These are considered mid-range. They don't do that.
What I like with that Nikon D7, what I like with the Nikon D750 is with those two cards, one card can be dedicated to video and the others to pictures as well. So if you're not using it as a backup, so that's quite good. So if you've got one with the video and one with just your pictures.
Yep. So I'd say, you can't go wrong with any of these cameras. Every one of them is going to be good. I've noticed I always get better focus out of Canon, secondarily Nikon, and third, Panasonic. The focus to me isn't as good. It's fast for photos, but on video, I don't find it as clean. It's interesting.
And then also with most cameras as well, even then, it's got to decide what you're looking at a lot of the time if you're not touching the screen. So they do a damn good job, and people sometimes complain about the focusing, but you've got to be a bit more specific. If there's something that you top right-hand corner, but there's a branch on the left-hand side, well, it's going to focus on that if you're not careful.
Right, and that's the problem.
Where that touch screen's excellent.
Yep, that's true. So anyway, Jeff, it is about almost 4:30 our time, and unfortunately Corey couldn't make it, but we got 2 shows done this week.
Oh my God! Yes, that's right. It must be that week. I had a session with I have a chat with Jeffrey K. Holbrook, who's in West Virginia on Blab. We have a chat on a Wednesday night and record it. But this week we recorded it, but the recording just not there.
Oh, weird. They're good about recording.
So I would invite you to it, but it's about 3:00 in the morning your time.
I'll think about you.
That's what I thought. I thought this, and I think we've had the Blab record at the moment. We've done 3 get-togethers where we've recorded, and not one person stopped by.
Oh, really?
But I think but West Virginia, it's still about 6:00 in the morning.
Right, that's pretty early.
Yeah, so that's when it's convenient for him as well. So.
Yep. All right, well, Jeff, I will see you next week. I'll give you some more feedback on the 80D next week.
Oh,
I'll be taking some videos and shots this weekend. See what I come up with.
I'll just have to hold back to make sure I don't accidentally buy one on the weekend.
On the weekend, but they're nice though. I have to admit, playing with it just a little bit today, not bad, not bad. Has a nice feel to it. I got to see how the pictures look when.
I can use my current lenses with it.
You could. So, not a bad choice. But if you get it, I don't know. I want to get that 18 to 135 new USM because it's a lot faster. I'm dying to see what that looks like. I mean, Canon does still make good lenses. That one's really only about $595, which isn't bad for that kind of lens.
No.
Yeah, they said the optics are going to be the same as this one. So this is the same exact optics, just a faster focus. That's all. But the optics aren't bad on this.
And even from reports I've seen, even the non-STM lenses work pretty good.
They do.
Just not as good as.
I was using my Pancake 40mm Canon. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
I use my 50mm, the STM, the newer 50 cheap one, and that was actually pretty good. It's a little noisier though as an engine. They have a newer 50mm. It's about $250. I may look at getting and see if that works better, but for now, I'm pretty happy. These are pretty good.
That's what you need to be, is happy when you buy equipment.
Happy, yeah, happy. We're happy. Anyway, folks, thank you for watching the show. This is our live stream. You will be seeing the recording on vimeo.com/channels/techdownover. We'll be posting it out on social media as well as, well, that's it, social media. Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram, we post it all out. So anyway, we look forward to seeing you next week. We'll have a guest, maybe. If not, we'll have plenty to talk about. I think we do have a guest next week, but I can't remember who it was. So we will see you soon. Have a good one, everyone. Bye, Jeff.
Okay, bye for now.
Take care.